Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome into episode number 10 of our WWF 1992 Save in TEW 2020. This is Superstars of Wrestling for February week 1. I hope you guys enjoyed the couple return episodes we've done. We did Saturday night's main event and the State of WWF recently, and again, hope you enjoyed that after a little bit of a hiatus there. Yeah, it's been kind of fun to get back into the series with the storylines and all that, and really get kind of caught up on our plans as we head towards WrestleMania 8, because that is the next big show on the card. We've got 2 months, so as you'll see kind of from this episode, not every episode of Superstars will be one that may have the most action-packed events, kind of like Saturday night's main event did. We want the big shows to feel big, and some of these Superstars of Wrestling will be more so about pushing forward certain characters and angles and all that good stuff, kind of the way they did too. And I think it's something else of note, just so everyone knows, like the WrestleMania 8 card, the way we built it, we'll kind of try to mirror the way they did it, not in terms of the actual matches that took place there, but the style. And that was, not every 8, 9, 10 matches on the card were all built up with huge rivalries and all that, right? Like this wasn't the era when that happened. So you will see there will be some more kind of showcase spotlight matches on the card, and then you'll have kind of your main attraction matches. So that's kind of how we're building it moving in. But you'll see how we do it. And so let's get started on the road to WrestleMania 8. Following that big Saturday night's main event show, we see the highlights here of the fallout from Randy Savage versus Jake Roberts, which was our main event on that show, which of course featured lots of interesting developments to say the least. One of which was Roddy Piper leaving the announce table to go and stop Jake Roberts from attacking Miss Elizabeth after Randy Savage was tied in the ropes. And so Piper came to make the save. Jake and Piper fought off, as we know, and so that led to Savage being, still tied in the ropes. Miss Elizabeth kind of in shock in the corner. Ric Flair came over to try to comfort Miss Elizabeth. Savage saw that. Chaos everywhere as we ended Saturday night's main event. But we get an 89 here for this one, like I said, just sort of pushing the main highlights and maybe what comes next with all of these guys here as we move forward. All right, then we get a match here. British Bulldog gets a win over Steve Regal. Yes, we brought in Steve Regal. No, not William Regal, Steven Regal, but Steve Regal, who was kind of a journeyman, I guess you could say. Had several stops. I think he was in the WWF, I want to say late 80s. Had a bit of a stop in there. I remember watching some of the wrestling challenges and all that. Like recently, actually, I've been going through some of the older stuff on the network and such, and it's kind of fun to go back and see some of the sort of jobbers, I guess you could say, and spots that lost some of these matches. He was in, several of those. I feel like I've watched at least, I don't know, sometime in the 80s, 86, 88, something like that. So brought him back here. A nice person to have, I think, is sort of just an old school heel here that can lose some matches. So brought him back in. Pretty good match here, 66 overall for this one. The British Bulldog, the year of the Bulldog, continues in 1992. So the British Bulldog gets the win. All right, now we get an interview with Shawn Moody, and we're kind of pushing this as though this was a former interview from Saturday night's main event after the Mounty got the win over Coco Beware. So kind of a taped interview here. And the Mounty is sort of saying, you know what, Shawn, I had it all wrong. He said, my approach was not working, but now I've decided to change it. I've got to get back to my roots, and that is ridding the WWF of all the trash that's out there, and specifically cleaning this place up. And it all started with Coco Beware and that bird Frankie. And so that's kind of what he's pushing here, is that he's here to clean up the WWF, and specifically mentioning Frankie the Bird as part of that. So we know the Mountie got the win over Coco, and we'll see where the Mountie heads moving forward as we head towards WrestleMania 8. All right, so now we get a promo here. We're kind of doing some of these in the style that they did them, right? So this is kind of your match where the natural disasters are about to be in action. And so we kind of have your sort of inset promo here, I guess you could say, where we have Jimmy Hart on the screen, and he's kind of talking about, listen, baby, the natural disasters, everybody keeps talking about if there's some kind of rift between them. Don't worry, they're on the same page. The earthquake has forgiven the typhoon for what he did at the Royal Rumble. Everybody knows it was every man for himself. And he said, despite what you may hear, I'm here to tell you, baby, that these two guys, they're on the same page, and they're going to keep doing what they've always done, and that's destroy everybody in their path. So Jimmy Hart saying that the natural disasters are on the same page, making it very clear, even though we've had some tension between these two for a while now. Some of that courtesy of the Royal Rumble development, and some of that courtesy of Ted DiBiase, who's kind of been pushing some of that as well. So 67 here for this one. And then we get to the actual match. It is the National Disasters getting the win over Jim Powers and Jerry Lynn. We brought in Jerry Lynn as well, someone who, has some decent skills and can do some good stuff in the ring. And he already has outdone Jim Powers here, 41 on the in-ring performance for Jerry Lynn, 34 for this one. Show's still gimmick adequate. That's fine. So it's all good. But it is Earthquake pinning Jerry Lynn with the Earthquake Splash, 43 for this one. Not much more than just a simple showcase match for the National Disasters. And so then we go on to Gene Okerlund, who was with the Legion of Doom. And the last time we saw them, they were taking aim at Haku and the Barbarian after that tag team match at Saturday night's main event, where it was Texas Tornado and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who were kind of saying that they were going after Haku and Barb because of them being involved in that attack on Hulk Hogan at the Royal Rumble, which we know happened when Hogan entered at number 2, never made it into the match. And it is LOD saying that they have unfinished business here with Haku and Barbarian, and what they saw at Saturday night's main event was just a start, because they're going to get their hands on them, and just like everybody else, they're not happy about what Haku and the Barbarian did to Hulk Hogan, and they, just like Hogan, have some unfinished business with those two. So, just again, kind of Legion of Doom taking aim here at Haku and Barbarian, which, by the way, why are Haku and Barbarian not on here? Well, as you guys know, accidentally let Haku's contract expire, and so I got to re-sign him pretty quickly. But we got that in motion. Barb's still on the roster, but I didn't want to put them on there without both. So, yeah, you guys know where this is headed. 68 for this one. All right, now we get another promo here to Shawn Mooney with Bret the Hitman Hart, who's coming off of that Intercontinental Championship defense against the Repo Man, and we know afterwards it was Ted DiBiase, kind of giving that evil laugh towards Bret and saying, reminding him again that everybody has a price. And this is Bret's reaction to that, just saying that, Ted DiBiase may be right. Money may have a price for everything, but Bret says it doesn't have a price for his Intercontinental Championship, and he's proven time and time again that he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, and that if Ted DiBiase wants to see that, for himself, he's already gotten at the Royal Rumble when Bret threw him over the top, and now he can get it in a one-on-one match and take a shot at this Intercontinental Championship if he wants, like a man, and not just throw his money around to try to get whatever he wants. So Bret just kind of taking aim at DiBiase here based on everything that DiBiase said, and sort of continuing to push that reminder that DiBiase just keeps saying it and telling Bret that soon he'll find out that everybody has a price. So 63 for this one. All right, now there's another match here. Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, beating Chris Walker in 258. IRS, terrible wrestling. Non-existent crowd heat for this match. But you guys know I'm trying to keep the formula here. Some of these will be better than others. But for now, this was not one of our better ones. Although it gets us 47, better than the National Disasters tag team match. But IRS 61 here on the end ring. And again, just kind of pushing IRS here in the ring with a victory. 47 for this one. All right, now we get another interview here, Shawn Mooney, and this is kind of just like in the style of the Mounty. We get a promo here following Michaels' win over Owen Hart at Saturday night's main event, which was a big victory for Shawn, as we know, and he just says he's told everybody he proved that he's better than Owen Hart, and that he, unlike Owen, isn't just a tag team wrestler anymore, he said, because there's no one that's ever went from being a tag team wrestler to being what I've become in such a short amount of time, and that he's basically dropped all the dead weight, and that it's all about Shawn Michaels now. He's the Heartbreak Kid, and he's going to keep breaking the hearts of everyone in the WWF. So, Shawn Michaels continuing to push his new sort of persona here, and does it following a win over Owen Hart, 51 for this one. All right, now we get a tag team match here, and why was that promo important? Because we are getting a tag team match, the new foundation, Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart, getting the win over Skinner and the Berserker when Neidhart pins Skinner with the Anvil Flattener. Gets a 46 for the match, so not great. You can see most of our matches pretty bad, but it's okay. Again, a lot of these are sort of developing characters and stories and all that, and that's kind of what we're aiming at right now. But not a great match. Pretty even here, actually, in terms of the in-ring performances. Berserker having the same in-ring performance as Owen. That's an interesting one, but yeah, it is kind of the time frame too. So, yeah, big win here for the new foundation. But yeah, Owen did come up short in that match against Shawn Michaels. All right, now we get a promo here from Roddy Piper. It's worth noting, we didn't mention this earlier, but we did kind of want to push that Piper's not on commentary for the show. Usually he's on commentary for Superstars. Made clear earlier in the night that Piper would not be on commentary for a reason, and we replaced him with Gorilla Monsoon on this show, so it's Vince and Gorilla. I know, kind of a unique pairing, but still, that's what we're going with, and we kind of have the Vince promoting earlier that we would hear from Piper later on Superstars, and this is the promo where Piper, you can tell, is all fired up because this is coming off of, again, what he did at Saturday Night's Main Event to prevent Jake from going after Elizabeth with the snake. And so Piper just, is fired up here, and he's just saying he sat around long enough. If no one else was going to step up and do something about it, then I was going to be the one. And he says he won't watch Jake and his snake run wild here in the WWF, and he certainly won't watch him go after a helpless woman. So he knows that Randy Savage was tied in the ropes and could do nothing about it, but Piper didn't have a choice. He had to get in there and do something about it, and the Hot Rod is going to do even more about it now because he tells Jake that next time he sees him, he's going to teach him a lesson about ever trying to lay his hands on a woman. And Piper, just kind of pushing all your usual babyface values here for Roddy Piper, but you can tell the Hot Rod fired up and wants to get his hands on Jake the Snake Roberts. So that is where we're at with this, coming out of it, and we'll see what happens next. 87, good stuff here from the Hot Rod. All right, that's going to lead us to our main event. We're kind of pushing here that this is a match from a recent show. We've got The Undertaker taking on El Matador, Tito Santana, and it is Taker getting the win over Tito in 7:19 with a chokeslam. But as usual, it wasn't just about the win here for The Undertaker in this nicely rated match, 69 for this one, but it's about what comes after, because after the match, it's Taker trying to finish El Matador once and for all. The long, storied career of Tito Santana here could be over because The Undertaker has got the body bag. And we see kind of a scenario here where Taker's trying to put Matador into it, but the crowd starts to roar. And why is that? Because someone is here to save the day. And as Taker tries to finish off Matador, put him in the body bag, the crowd wants someone to help. And here comes Big Sid Justice. And Sid makes his way down, and the feud has been brewing between these two since the Rumble, and now it is Sid coming in and making sure that Tito does not get put in the body bag. He clotheslines The Undertaker over the top rope, and so that sort of escalates things even further now. So Taker over the top, and once again, when Taker goes over, he does not go down. He lands on his feet, and he's walking around just kind of like he did at the Rumble when Sid eliminated him in the same kind of style. It is Taker kind of following Paul Bearer around here with the urn, and that is kind of your development here as Sid and The Undertaker continue to kind of go back and forth here with this one. So Sid getting a little bit of a one-up here on The Undertaker after Taker defeated El Matador and tried to put him in the body bag. So 77 here for this one. Again, that was kind of our main event for the show. But the biggest thing on the show is this, because we do get the announcement from Jack Tunney, who is sitting in his office, and at least he didn't look lost this time. He only performed poorly, so that helped because we get a 95 here for the segment. And he was superb, working without a script. So Jack really delivered in a segment where we really needed him to deliver. So it is Jack Tunney saying that he wanted to give an update on the investigation into the attack on Hulk Hogan at the Royal Rumble. Tunney says they have been talking to many superstars in the WWF. They have talked to the people who were directly involved in what happened. He wants to get the answers out of Haku, the Barbarian, the Warlord, the Repo Man, Colonel Mustafa, and everyone else that played a part in the attack on Hulk Hogan. And Tunney says, we want to make sure WWF fans rest assured, knowing that we are going as far as we need to go to get the answers as to what happened with Hulk Hogan. And that is when Tunney says, so I will tell you that next week, right here on Superstars, we plan to have a big announcement regarding a significant development in our investigation. We need to make sure that this piece of information that we have received is accurate, and we will take our time to do that. But I hope to tell you that next week we have a big development, and yes, it will involve Ric Flair. So that is how we go off the air here on this edition of Superstars. It's Jack Tunney promising us a big update next week, and one that will involve the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, who, as we know, seemed to be very pleased with what happened to Hulk Hogan. We saw the smile on Flair's face. Flair has denied having any involvement in that whatsoever, but Jack Tunney says there will be an update next week, and it will involve Ric Flair. So, 95 here for the segment to finish the show. This will likely lose us popularity, and it did. 79 here for this one. We lose in 8 regions. We increase in 8 regions. It's fine. Like I said, we know that we kind of are going to take that dip a little bit because WWF, the numbers were just so high heading into this. So we lost a couple popularity points in the first month. We're going to lose probably another point more, I'd say, in some of these areas, but we're not in any danger of falling to below or to the next level right now because we're still doing fine in all these areas, and I think we'd have to have some pretty rough shows, at least, lower 70s or something. To probably drop us down to any level or anything. So I'm not really concerned about it. I know we'll start to kind of pick things up as we head towards WrestleMania, so not that worried about it. But let's get to 79. We accomplished some stuff, got some storyline advancement, got some characters with some things on their mind, and then again, we did get the announcement that next week we will have a big update on the investigation as to who attacked Hulk Hogan and what led to this heinous action from all those guys. We'll see. All right, let's see what we get to before we wrap up. All right, so that was Superstars of Wrestling. Positive show. We didn't strike gold with that one, but that's okay. Not every show will strike gold, as we know. Nothing really of note in here. Uh-oh, we've got something there. Let's check the email. Actually, let's just go ahead and get deal with this. It looks like there's something here. I was trying to think, I'm like, can I reveal this? But I know it's not a contract because all of our contract stuff is already done with anyone we would have brought in. So this has got to be an incident. Okay, and of course it's an incident involving Shawn Michaels. Great. Exactly what we needed. Okay, let's see what's going on with Shawn. So, he has been identified as a soft drug user by the WWF drug testing policy. Okay, so soft drug, we've had some incidents with hard drug users. So this is a soft case. So, it is Shawn Michaels. And so, maybe, for right now, we know he's a troublemaker. And nothing's going to go well probably with Shawn, no matter what we do. We're certainly not going to fire him. But for now, we're going to tell Shawn, you know what? We're going to need to just kind of slow this down a little bit. We're just going to give you a stern warning. Maybe he'll improve his behavior. Let's just hope for the best because we don't want to upset Shawn right now, I will say. That's something that we really don't want to do. He's a troublemaker. And, of course, we have plans for Shawn Michaels in the future. So for now, we'll give him a stern warning. If it happens again, we have no choice but to take some significant action. And so even a stern warning did not sit well with the one and only Heartbreak Kid. So, okay, it's all right. We'll be fine. So, and again, you see all these right here. As I said, remember, these are some of the contracts we let expire because these were the starting ones that we didn't realize that, usually we get the inbox notification, contract expiring. I just forgot to check the guys who had contracts expiring in the first month. So we're bringing these guys back. I don't think that's like a huge thing there. And I knew we didn't have any negotiations that would go through today. So it's like it had to be an incident for that one. So, all right, let's look at our mail. Lex Luger's gone from New Japan. Unfortunately, the Lex Express still not heading to the WWF anytime soon. He's under contract for a while with WCW, but he was on loan to New Japan. Skinner has an opinion. Earthquake is money. Strap a rocket to the kid. All right, well, Earthquake. Hey, we're big fans of Earthquake here, John Tinta. So Sid has an opinion, probably not a positive one. Yep, Jerry Lynn. Okay, so we just brought Jerry Lynn in for one match. It was his first match in the WWF. He outperformed his tag team partner, Jim Powers. Yet Sid says he doesn't connect with the fans, a waste of time. Well, all right, so Sid's seen enough. After one match with Jerry Lynn, that's it for Jerry Lynn. No ECW, no future, nothing. Like, he's done. Like, Sid wants him out. We'll see about that. Drug test fees, which are always important, $8,000. And the NBC deal I've left continued there to note that. All right, there you go. That was Superstars of Wrestling. Like I said, probably not the most noteworthy show, but we did develop some angles that will be pushed forward here on the road to WrestleMania 8. And we did get Shawn Michaels getting pissed off at us about something, which is nothing new. But there you go, guys. I appreciate you watching as always. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, we've got a lot of good stuff planned, I think, on the road to WrestleMania 8. And then once we get there specifically, I've started to sort of plot out my big matches for like SummerSlam and all that now. So like that's where we get excited because I'm like, okay, we have longer term stuff to work towards. We kind of know the matches we're going to build to at the bigger shows. And I also like the formula in this era, like I said, for WrestleMania, that not every match has to be, a 3-month long build. It can just be sort of showcasing some of your talent in the mid card, upper mid card, all that. It doesn't have to be, every match has high stakes and everything. So I like that. We'll kind of have our little group of featured matches, and then you'll kind of have some more spotlight matches on the rest of the card. So I like the way it's coming together, and again, hope you guys enjoy it. And I've also got some other kind of fun stuff in the works that we may kind of tie into this series. So something, and I'll go and just throw this out now. So something I've been doing, I teased it in this episode, actually. I said, I've been going back and watching some of the old stuff from this era. And I'm actually just kind of doing like written reviews on it. So like just my own fun, just going back and sort of logging these shows, reviewing them, giving some thoughts. If you guys would be interested in me kind of sharing that, I was thinking, because I am watching some shows from this era, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be fun to kind of go through each week or something and sort of attach the actual show that week? So like go back in like February, find an episode of Superstars, whatever, and we can kind of, tie that into what we're doing with this actual save. And you can kind of get your nostalgia of what actually happened back then, kind of what we're doing, kind of, gives you a little refresher on some of the characters, all that stuff. So maybe fun. And if you guys would be interested in that, let me know, and I can kind of share maybe, website, that kind of stuff, to where you can read some of the stuff as I'm doing it. It's kind of fun to go back and look at these. But again, guys, I appreciate you as always. Thanks for watching. And on the next episode of our WWF 1992 save, it will be Superstars of Wrestling for February, week 2.